Yeah.
The biggest attractive part of the package was Aakash Bhatia with his big long beard. Like, I was waiting to be directed by the long bearded man. Yeah, that was always in my mind, always. In the film also, right? Like, what is that line? Experiences. No, you are the
Bad
person who.
experiences teach you
Yeah,
something.
bad.
Ah.
Something. So that
Oh,
line is there.
the opening line. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it.
Why do you want to say it?
I don't want to say it, and people should read it when they watch the film.
What nonsense, Aakash! This could be a pull to get the audience to watch the film. Come on, say it.
What is it? Good experiences come from.
I don't remember it well.
Good experiences.
Oh, here's the promo moment of this interview.
Honestly, I had a ride watching Looop Lapeta. The film is not a one-time watch. It's meant to be watched on loop. I watched it thrice already. The first time for Savi and Satya. And I'm not going to lie, I was just looking at two people and not Taapsee and Tahir out there. The second time when I watched, I fell in love with the cinematography and the edits. And the third time for the symbolic color palette and how beautifully you have incorporated Desi elements. So Taapsee, Tahir and Aakash, thank you for giving us this bundle of love, chaos, craziness in the most unique way, be it by acting or by storytelling. And on that note, a huge welcome to ETimes. And we are so happy to have you joining with us today.
Thank you, Aditi.
Thank you for kickstarting our interviews with such beautiful response. Thank you.
Thank you thank you so much.
It just means a lot that you've picked up on all the elements that were intended to be brought out through the film.
True. So I want to know from Taapsee and Tahir, or if I say Savi and Satya, what was that one thing which attracted you the most about exploring these characters, thrive in that chaos, and put yourselves out on the screens?
I think what attracted me the most was the sharpness of this character and the chemistry that she shares with Satya. I think that brings out the humor, that brings out the emotion and the intent in the character. That was fun for me to explore, and that became the selling point.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Of course, Aakash. Of course, Aakash was there as a selling point too. The biggest attractive part of the package was Aakash Bhatia with his big long beard. Like, I was waiting to be directed by the long bearded man. Yeah, that was always in my mind. Always.
Oh, I thought the beard compliments was going to continue. For me, Aditi, before I heard Looop Lapeta, I had never done a romantic part before. I had always been cast in these alpha male, very strong characters, and it was just very exciting to be able to do a character who was vulnerable, who was also goofy, but was at the end of it romantic at heart. It's just that his methods are so messed up that he always ends up getting in trouble. And Taapsee was attached to the project before I was, so that was definitely the cherry on the cake. The cherry, I said, Taapsee, not the icing. It was great because like creating chemistry is a team sport. Like, you are as good as your opponent. And when I had Taapsee to play off, it just made the job that much easier. And of course, there was Mr. Aakash Bhatia, who I hadn't worked with before this, and gradually got to know him through the process of this shoot. And I'm so incredibly proud of what he's created on screen.
Mm-hmm. So, Aakash, even though you say it's an inspired film, a homage to Run Lola Run, Looop Lapeta is an original in itself. So, as a director, when you took this risk, how challenging was it to convince your sensibilities and craft it out, especially the fact that you are taking inspiration from a classic, yet keeping its originality intact?
See, the thing about something like this is that you are going to be risking everything when you make an adaptation of a classic, right? You are going to be putting everything that you've learned into the mix. And that is something that we were very aware of from when we started. We knew that we wanted to make an original film, which is inspired by this mad bloody film that had come like 25 years ago, And in doing that, you wanted to make something super fresh. That because you're bringing so many talented people, so many talented actors, so many talented technicians, it'd be a complete waste of their skill set and their learnings over the years to take something and just copy paste it. So we wanted to make something original, even though it's an adaptation. And obviously we've kept the core of the film in the story of the exploration of love. That's something that we've tried to do. So like trying to make an original film, even though it's an adaptation, is what I would say.
So, Taapsee, a lot of characters that you have portrayed go through pain, abuse, and trauma, out and out complex, but very real and distinctively different. But, through Savi, I did get to see a different side. She's driven by love. So, how did you find the balance as a performer and not get into the extremes?
Pain, abuse, and trauma. It feels like इसके अंदर भी मतलब trauma तो दे ही रहा है Satya इसको. But yeah, not really the pain and abuse as much. But there are still some really beautiful layers which are written in the film, which are not really there in Run Lola Run. About the character's backstory, about her family conflict, and about the baggage with the father that she's been carrying. To all these character nuances, emotions were not really there in the original. So, and hence it was different for me to do this film, and didn't think of it like the so-called remake of any sort. And also, though I have been playing someone who will be on the driving seat in my films mostly, but here it's nice, in the same film I get to be the good, bad, and the hero. Like Bichari, bad and hero, actually we should say that. Because it's the same loop that runs thrice. First one, you feel like, poor girl, she's just like stuck in this, and she's trying to make the ends meet. The second one, you feel like, okay, she's like really being nasty. And the third one, eventually you feel like, okay, she's gonna now be the hero. So I get to like perform in 3 different dimensions in the same film. That is what ended up exciting the actor in me to do this film.
So, Tahir, after watching you in Ranjishi Sahi, Ye Kali Kali Aakhe, Looop Lapeta found you playing a very unconventional lover. So, were there challenges in stepping out of that comfort zone of being a typical romantic hero? What felt different here?
I think it was staying true to its world. Satya is the sort of this fulcrum of chaos. Like unintentionally, he leads with love. His intention is always to make Savi the most comfortable, the most happy. But his methodology is what's always a little twisted. And in everything that I've chosen, there's always been an intention to do something disruptive. And what I really loved about this is, while I was transitioning into the lead hero, the romantic hero space, it's so out of the box even within that genre, that it maintains the doing something different, doing something disruptive, which surprises me as an actor, and hopefully that's the way the audience responds as well.
So, Aakash, one interesting thing about the film was the detailing, the cause-effect relationship, and the role of chance and conscious intentions, be it through Savi and Satya's worldview or the storyline. But as a director, what were your priorities? The story, or making sure that the characters stand out individually in that?
See, I think they can't exist without each other. The story is nothing if it's not told well by the characters that are in it. So they have to exist. They have to coexist together and balance each other out. So for me, the priority is the larger landscape, the larger storytelling. For me, everything is in ode to the piece of paper that we've written this on. So the characters, their experiences, whether they are authentic to the world or authentic to reality, everything is for the story in itself. So my priority was to tell a story, try and tell it in an engaging manner, keep the characters on an edge, make sure that they're constantly learning, unlearning, and those are some of the things that were important. Of course, the detailing is just a lot of fun to do, because then you get all the people, all the co-creators on board, and we want to do this, we want to try it like this. How can we push it? What are the subliminal things we can say? If you don't understand it, you don't understand it. But if you understand it, it's like, oh, nice, that was fun, And that's something that we want. We want to, like you said, you watched it thrice. We want people, if you've enjoyed the film, I want you to definitely hope that you can watch it again.
Because every time you watch it, you rediscover new things about the film, and you fall in love with it a little more. So
just to add to what Aakash was saying, Aditi, normally you're as an actor, you're coming on set thinking of how is my character moving this story forward. But it is such a joy when the level of detailing that Aakash and the DOP Yash Khanna have put into it, where the lens that the camera is using, the lighting, the set design, all of it is and I'm not saying this about a particular moment, but in every scene there's a message there. There's a theme that's going on. There's a palette that's been set based on the mood. And when all of it is coming together for the story, and you see it for the very first time, it's just incredibly exciting as an artist.
So, Taapsee, now that you have set a benchmark with your performances, with every new releases overpowering the previous ones, how challenging is it to amp up your game and deal with this pressure of consistency? How are you reinventing yourself?
I'm just trying to make sure that the head is on the shoulders. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm the same person taking the decisions for the same reasons that I took a couple of years back. Because when your intention of taking a certain decision about doing a film or not doing a film change drastically because of some external pressure, then I think the palette of the films you take and the kind of films that you have taken and which has made you who you are kind of like shakes up a little bit. So I'm just trying to make sure my intentions and the reason to do and not do a film stay the same like they were a couple of years back, and don't get distracted by anything else. And I would love the graph to keep going up, though it's not like I think I will be the only person in the world who will keep going up and not falter. I will falter in the law of average, but I should make sure that by the time I falter, I should be strong enough to get through it, because everyone will falter somewhere or the other. But who's going to get through it and not give up there is going to be like the true test. So I'm just hoping by that time I'm going to be strong enough to get through.
I think you will be strong enough to get through. I mean, 10, 12 years back when I used to see you, and now when I look at you and the choice of films that you do, you've been going up, actually.
But then you must be watching my South films if you're watching 10, 12 years back, because I only started working in Hindi for 8 years back.
I used to see those hoardings, like guest of honor, Taapsee is coming and things like that. Back in South, when you were doing things in South.
Yeah, I've changed as a person as well, and that is what life does to you, right? The experiences in the film also, right? Like, what is that line? Experiences. You are
bad
a person
experiences teach you something.
Something. So
the opening line. Yeah. I don't want to say it.
Why do you want to say it?
I don't want to say it, and people should read it when they watch the film.
What nonsense, Aakash! This could be a pull to get the audience to watch the film. Come on, say it.
What is it? Good experiences come from.
I don't remember it well.
Good experiences.
Here's the promo moment of this interview.
Experiences come from bad decisions. I just remember that part of it very well, because that's how I've changed. I've learned from my bad experience.
So, Tahir, every time I see you on screen, you're full of surprises and revelations, and you started playing great characters and then slowly turning into more conventionally likable characters. So what type of roles do you identify with more?
I identify with great stories and what my part is doing in that stories. And what really excites me is doing stuff that allows me to explore new aspects of the craft and also be disruptive. Like, I love the fact that the lead hero, the male protagonist in the film, can be flawed. And that's what Satya is. Like, his intentions are great. You're going to fall in love with his vulnerability, but his methods, you're going to be like wishing you could reach into the screen and stop him from doing some of the stuff that he does. And even on paper, I felt that. Now I felt like this would be incredible to play. And I think that transition point for me definitely came with Chichore, because of its box office success, and people started to see that, hey, this guy can maybe do different stuff. And I think that as an actor, like Taapsee was saying earlier, I hope to, like, I did imbibe a lot from her on set in terms of not changing what you make those decisions for. And that remains like the story that you're trying to tell and the story that you want to be a part of.
Thank you so much for putting this out. And Tahir, I think you really have a long way to go. I mean, your past 3 releases have been spectacular. I have watched all 3 of them, and I'm absolutely loving the kind of stuff that you're doing. So please keep growing.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, guys, for doing this with me. I had a great time chatting with you, and I really look forward to more such conversations.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.